Is Lane Johnson the most important Eagle that we've seen so far in the start of the 2022 season? Welcome aboard National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills. Welcome aboard. We tell you this all the time. Thank you so much for making the show what it is. Hit the like button. What a great time in sports. What a great time for sports in Philly. I know that can't be stated enough, man. You know how many cities don't have the ability to talk about playoff baseball? By the way, San Diego, I've never seen more Philly fans in my life in one city than I have when it comes to Major League Baseball. Dude, the Philly faithful is in San Diego, proud and strong. They're dominating Market Street. They're dominating NLCS, San Diego, and the Phillies. I'm telling you, man, Philly fans, you show up strong. You are all over San Diego, bird's eye view of it. And believe me, man, that stadium last night, Petco Park, had a ton of Philly fans in it. And if you hear when Schwarber hit the home run and then Harper hit it, you heard the Philly fans in the building. Pretty damn impressive, man. Great stuff going on. That is a great story starting to take shape. 2-0 win for the Phillies last night against the Padres. Take game one, now have home field on their side. I mean, really, I think this is a 7-game series. I still think the Padres have a little bit more starting pitching, but what a great story going on. You get rid of Girardi, you put Thompson in, and now all of a sudden you're in the World Series with a shot and 3 games away from going to that thing. That's incredible. What a storyline. More on that. We'll do that a little bit later. I got word that the National Football League is talking about scoring being down. Or I should say defenses being down. Okay, and you're looking at it. Get this, a full touchdown, about 8 points, okay, is now where the league is right now when it comes to the point differential. Wouldn't you say, as the Eagles are in the bye, one of the most observant things that you could possibly make about the league is this? How many shitty O-lines are there now in the NFL? How many good O-lines do you think the Eagles have played so far this year? What would you guys say? Where it was nothing like Philly. Hey, by the way, this is where I think you guys are dominating the league. It's not so much at your skilled positions. It's in your O-line. How many teams do you think? And by the way, this is not to talk about the Eagles' soft schedule. This is nothing like that. But I can name, how many teams do you think really have great O-lines? I think this is the problem in the league right now. You're not seeing a lot of scoring because you don't have a lot of good offensive lines. That's why the Eagles with Jeff Stoutland and what he's created, well, you're just not 5 great players. You're like 7 deep. The Eagles are 7 deep. Andre Dillard, Jack Driscoll could start anywhere in the NFL. Anywhere in the NFL, those guys could start. That's why, if you're Howie Roseman, are you going to let Andre Dillard walk out the building at the end of the year? I don't know about that. Having an offensive line and backups in case you have issues, I think is so essential right now for you to win in today's NFL. Dude, I don't know about the quarterback play, but I will tell you this. I know this. There is a ton of shitty offensive lines in the National Football League right now, and we all know this, man. It is a ton of bad football being played, and when you sit here and watch all these lines, dude, name me the best O-line that the Eagles have played so far in their 6-0 start. Who do you think? The Lions? I think the Lions O-line's better than the Cowboys O-line. Who else? I can't name another one. Vikings? They're limited in their O-line. How many teams actually have great O-lines? Eagles, the Browns, Packers don't, Bucks don't, Rams don't. Cleveland, yes. Dallas, maybe. Shit, you'd probably say Dallas is the third best O-line, right? Yeah, the Chargers lost that tackle for the season, though. Bills have a pretty decent O-line. Bills do. The point is, there's a bunch of bad O-line play going on. And Howie Roseman's greatest achievement has been building that O-line with those players that he and Jeff Stoutland have added to the mix. I'm going to tell you this too. Do you not agree this? That having Jason Kelce help you pick that kid Juergens. You have him, and look at Howie. Stoutland, look at those three guys, and you have Sirianni. You've got that whole group of guys picking players that are going to be guys who potentially could play in the O-line. How do you go wrong? Jason Kelce, right, had a lot to say with this kid Juergens being signed and drafted by the team. Looks like, hey, every time I see him get in a game, I'm pretty good with him. He looks like a player. I'll tell you this. I think he looks better than that player and that center that was in the draft from Iowa. What was his name? Linderbaum? I think he looks better than him. Dude, he's pretty damn impressive. So the strength of that football team clearly is now in the O-line, and it is a league weakness. The problem with the league is not poor quarterback play. It's poor O-line play. And that's where you're seeing the Eagles completely control games. Hey, do you not agree every single game that the Eagles have been in, they've controlled the game? They've never been in a position where they're not the alpha team. Dallas, Minnesota, 5-1. They were the alpha team in that game. Bigger, quicker, faster, stronger. That's where the Eagles are dominating. And the rest of the league, you know what? Get this. The rest of the league must look at Philly and go, where are they getting these guys from? Guy steps in and some would go, well, Jack Driscoll kind of got pushed around by Michael Parsons. Yeah, but Parsons still didn't have a sack. You know, I mean, they still held that football, you know, longer than your offense did with 34 minutes compared to 24 minutes. I don't know. End of the day, you can say whatever you want about Jack. He is now the Eagles' Swiss Army knife in the O-line until Dillard gets healthy. Guard, tackle, right or left. Dude, this guy's a Swiss Army knife. I love it. Dude, they are so protected from catastrophic injuries. I think this football team is more prepared this year to withstand a massive injury than what they did in 2017. Shit, even Gardner Minshew can hold the fourth down until Jalen gets back if it's not a season-ending injury. They're covered, man. His team looks great going into the bye. By the way, do you not agree with me on this? I think it's great that the team got the bye now. I saw and I heard somebody say, you'd like to see them have it around week 10? I don't know. I think this was the proper time because you know why? The most important position on the team was starting to get beat up a little, and that was the O-line. And I think they're going to benefit more, the O-line, as they get healthier because then you get Mulata back, you get Dickerson healthier, Sayamalo healthier, Jason Kelce healthier. You can't lose, and I'm going to make a point here in a minute. You can't lose those dudes. You can't, all right? I want to throw this out there to you. Is Lane Johnson the most important Eagle that we've seen so far in the start of the 2022 season? Is he the most important Eagle on that team? And I'm going to put definitions around it and what I mean by his importance. Do you think, and listen, I know the quarterback position is the most important position. I'm not talking that way. I'm talking, do you think Lane Johnson is the most important Eagle in the locker room? You know, there was a comment that Nick Sirianni made going into the half. You know, there was still some time on the clock, and instead of kind of trying to get in field position, they had lost Lane Johnson to a concussion. And they decided to take a knee and go in to halftime. And then he was asked the question. I think this was at the press conference, and someone asked him how come he didn't press the issue on trying to get more points. And you know what he said? We just lost Lane Johnson, and I really wanted just to get everybody settled, and I wanted to, settle the troops a little bit because we need that guy. And I thought that was a really interesting comment that he made about Lane Johnson. Think about that. They decided to settle for what they had, and they thought because Lane went out with a concussion that it would wobble the team. It ended up wobbling them a little bit as they came out. The Cowboys ended up starting to get a little bit of momentum. Team and the game got to 20-17. So there was a little bit of wobbling there. There was a little bit of wobbling, correct? We started seeing that a little bit. And that made me think this. Hey, Lane's got to be the most important Eagle on that football team. Emotionally, spiritually, he's the true leader of that team. People look to Lane Johnson on that team. He's had issues mental health-wise. He's gone and seen it all, man. Won a Super Bowl. Shit, man. He is the most experienced dude in that locker room on everything from A to Z that a player goes through. Having your mind not in the right place, Lane can help you. Asking you what it's about to be in a routine and be a pro, Lane can help you. Asking you how to win, and handle winning, Lane can help you. He's the only guy in that locker room. Kelsey, not saying Kelsey's not in that conversation too, but just the way, and by the way, I would have to think that Nick would probably have the same comments to be made if they lost Kelsey too. If it was Kelsey who got hurt going into the half, I could see Sirianni saying those two guys have to be the two most important players in the 2022 season. Correct? That's quite a statement for a guy like Lane Johnson. And again, I think you got to bring Kelsey into that conversation as well. JB, I'm not so much talking about position on what's more important, center versus right tackle. You're right. The center is more important. The center position is the second most important position in the O-line next to the left tackle. And I would say this, I'm not talking by a lot. Okay? I'm not talking by a lot because your center is your quarterback on your team. But boy, I'll tell you, man, what a comment made by Nick Sirianni on Lane Johnson. Alexander, appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you. Please hit the like button, everyone. Right? That is really a fabulous honor to have. When you talk about leaders on the Eagles this year and what they've gone through so far to get to 6-0, there's no doubt Jalen is growing into being a great leader. Like you guys said, this is only his second year. He's growing into it. Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey are the leaders of that team. They are the unequaled leaders of that team. And Lane, his importance, you know why I also think too? I'm not saying that Kelsey's playing poor. He's not. But Lane is dominating. I mean, he dominated Michael Parsons. He just dominated him. And when you got a guy that's dominating players, and all of a sudden you're hearing people talking about him, hey, he's the best position player on your football team. Like the guy Trent Williams in San Francisco, who's been injured this year, Lane's the best. He's the best tackle. The kid in Tampa's great. That kid Wirtz, he's great too. The kid in Los Angeles with the Chargers, he's out. That rookie kid who played from Northwestern last year, he's gone for the season. Lane's a right tackle. You understand this? Right tackles don't get that kind of love. He's not a left tackle. The left tackle's the glamour position. That guy's a meat and potatoes type of guy. Okay? He's like a meat and potatoes dude. With all what you've seen from Hurts, would you pay him now? No. I've said that. Absolutely not. I'm not, I don't have, here, would I pay Hurts now? Why? Why would I pay him now? If I'm that, what do you think teams are going to just rip your checks up and write you more money and give you more money? You have to ask for it. Companies don't want to give you more money. They want to take complete advantage of you as long as they possibly can, as long as they have the leverage over you. Common sense. You're put in a position at times because you have no leverage. Once you get the leverage, you know what that is for Jalen? Winning.